When taking a long-term time lapse, it's common to have a problem where the default setting of the camera, you're going to see the image will be moving around a bit, especially depending on what's in the scene. So you can see here it's moving around. He's trying to get this shot here of the crane, and it's not a stable shot. So the solution is to disable top-bottom correction. So initially with top-bottom correction enabled, you can see the problem, but he disables it with the USB API. The most common way to do this is to get a Raspberry Pi, connect it with a USB cable to a RICOH THETA Z1. Let's turn on the Raspberry Pi and get started. I'm going to SSH in from WSL2 into the Raspberry Pi so we can modify the script. I'm now on the Raspberry Pi here. Let's go into the projects directory. So we're going to take the existing script we have and make some modifications. If you noticed from the previous scene, the camera is actually in sleep mode right now. So if I were to do an info, you can grab it, but it's not going to capture because the camera right now is asleep. So first we want to wake up the camera from sleep by setting a property that you can get from the USB API documentation. But I know what it is. It's 0xD80E, and we just want to set that thing to 0. Okay, so now when you capture it, it should take a picture here. Whoops. Sometimes right when you're waking up from sleep, I've had this problem before, and so I'm going to leave it in the video. The first command, I think the camera's still trying to wake up, and so if you run it another command after that, it seems to take the picture. So there's no harm in running this again, so I'm going to drop this into the top of my script, and so if the camera is in sleep mode, it'll wake it up. So creating the starter script was covered in the previous video. So we'll start off by first waking the camera up from sleep. And then we will maybe print out the info of the camera just as a test. And then let's disable the top-bottom correction. So using the official USB API documentation on api.ricoh, search for top-bottom correction. Okay, so we know it's now 0xD825. I'm going to copy that. And the available parameters are 0, 1, and then 4 disables it. So we're going to use 0x04. So first we'll just copy the property we want to change. Property. And then the value, if you recall, is 0x04. So it prints out the camera information just as a kind of a log for us here. And it took the picture, downloaded the picture theoretically, and deleted it. So it should be 873 JPEG. And it's 873 right here. So in the previous video, I downloaded 871. Theoretically, that should have the top bottom correction enabled, and 873, which we're going to grab, should have it disabled. So I'll grab this one here. Since the camera is on a tripod, it's pretty stable. It's going to be pretty difficult to see with just your eye if the top bottom correction is enabled. You could put the camera on the side for a better test. But let's just see whether an image is coming up. Typical of the Z1, it looks fantastic. I just love this resolution. So here's one way to check. I'm using this tool called exiftool on the file that I just downloaded. Theoretically with top bottom correction disabled. So if you inspect the metadata, you can see that the pitch and roll of the camera, there's actually a value here that's being recorded. So this is on the one with top bottom correction disabled. Okay. So if there's a correction on it, here's the previous picture. The RICOH pitch and roll is going to be zeroed out. So if it's on 0, that means that it's not using these values because the picture has already been internally stabilized, and there's no need for the picture to record the camera orientation because it's already been corrected inside the camera. Thanks for joining us. This is video number 7 in the US API tutorial series for the RICOH Theta. This is the third video also on using Bash. The first 4 videos focused on the software that you need to access the camera. Primarily, we used PTP Cam in these examples, although other software that complies to the MTP specification would work as well. Subscribe to the channel if you want more of videos of this type, and have a great day.